beautiful astrology soulmates, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of January 25th, where this week it's not that there's so much drama going on in the sky, but even as the sun comes rolling in and we see our first activation of energy this week, it's almost like it pushes on some energies that we've already been experiencing. But there are also aspects this week that I think are very good for bringing the joy back, for bringing the hopeful, the optimistic back, and we will talk about all of that here in just a minute. Before we even jump in here, if you would like this video, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that we can stay connected whenever new content is coming out. I would absolutely love and appreciate that. And if you haven't had a chance to check out and support the Kickstarter, we've got just a handful of days before it's over. So support the campaign, Free Astrology this year for everybody in our community, master teachers on board to help teach all year long. Rick Levine, Nadia Shah, Gemini Brett, Ali Gully, S.J. Anderson. We've got the list of them over at the Kickstarter page, okay? As well, we've got the eat and greets coming this week where Sharon Knight is going to talk about the gems of the astrology angels that are available to us in Hellenistic astrology. And Nia Boaz and I are going to go over death charts and what that means in astrology. So I look forward to seeing you in all of that. All right, my beautiful friend, let's jump into what's going on this week. Now, the week really kicks off when we see the sun putting some pressure and some energy with Uranus on Tuesday, the 26th. Now, the sun is going to square Uranus. The sun over in Aquarius, Uranus over in Taurus. And what happens is that when the sun comes in here and puts this pressure to square Uranus, remember that last week there was a lot going on in Uranian and Tauran energies, especially at 7 degrees. We had a Mars-Uranus meetup over there. So it's almost like the sun comes by and like pours a little salt in that open wound just a little bit. So under the sun Uranus energy, one of the things that can happen is, first of all, anytime Uranus gets involved, open your mind. Get real open-minded to what's happening around you, because through the open-mindedness will actually produce your next step or the solution, or it'll even create an open-mindedness to what's happening around you, because it can feel relatively uncertain at this time. It's not always a great day if you have to do something publicly. You can be a little bit challenging, so stay flexible with what's going on as well. I really think some of the good energy that comes from this, though, is that it's almost like it makes us have days that are inevitable, right? Like it makes you have the day, like everybody's bound to have a challenging day. Everybody's bound to have a really surprising day. Everybody's bound to have a whatever. And under the Uranian energy, especially with that sun, if you're going to have an interesting day, this is probably going to be one of them, okay? Now, as we continue down the road and we get just to the 28th, where we're not only going to have that full moon in Leo, and that is big and impactful for the month, but also I feel like the sun and Jupiter coming together in conjunction over here at 9 degrees of Aquarius. This is also impactful. First of all, the sun and Jupiter, as they come together, they're so powerful. They're enormous energies. So as these two come together to dance, they bring optimism. They bring a joy that is available. The sun is in its joy in the 9th house, which is a natural Jupiter ruled place. As they come together, it's optimism. It's this feeling. It's this motivation towards the good of things. So I absolutely love that even before we're really going to experience the influence of this moon, we get this energy that says, yes, maybe it's been uncertain. Maybe last week was a lot to deal with. Maybe last year was a lot to deal with, but there is positivity here. There is expansion. There is fortune. There is abundance and prosperity available to us under that sun Jupiter. So think the joy of things when you think about that aspect rolling in on the 28th. Then we will see the full moon happening at 9 degrees of Leo, and make sure you check out, I'll put a card up here somewhere, a link to that Leo video for the full moon. But the full moon is a mixed bag, right? First of all, the full moon says that something needs to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted. So we are going to make a shift here. And you can even see culmination of things that happened way back last year at the Aquarian full moon. So think about that, because remember, the polarities do work together. Oh, and if you haven't watched the eat and greet on polarities with Petra, you'll be able to find a card for that around here as well. But these are really important things to watch the timing of the cycle of things that are happening for you. And we've had so much happening in 2021 already at the pressure point of 9 degrees that I would tell you genuinely watch that 9 degrees in your chart, okay? But this is a mixed bag because we've got not only Venus and Pluto are coming together on the day, which I actually think is really very good. Venus conjunct Pluto, I think, actually gives us some stability. I think it's actually going to give us a little diplomacy as we head forward into whatever the next set of times that we have are. Remember, we're doing it quite joyfully with that Sun Jupiter underneath our belt, but we've also got some T-square energy happening with this moon that is like, yes, I'm Leo, joy, big voice, big, let's do it my way, this big expression, all of these things. But I think running into some of these other planets and these energies, we've got Uranus, Mars, Saturn, the Sun, Jupiter. There is a lot happening at this full moon that can also kind of bring the volume of the like joy down just a little bit, but it's still very, very workable. Instead of thinking of it as you get to just go out and say what you want, or it's going to be this big boisterous full moon that is really about everybody expressing what they want, I think that this one is a little bit more controlled. I think this one wants something that joins, that adds our individual voices a bit more to the whole. It is not so independent, even though typically we see Leo as a very independent energy. I think it is one that wants to express in a very big way a contribution. So I think that Venus Pluto conjunction will really add very much to that. And I actually too think that Venus and Pluto, when they come together, for me, it tends to be a quite fortunate energy. So I would love to hear if anything good is happening for you under that influence, okay? Now, as we close out this week, we're going to get to the 30th, which is actually Saturday, and we're going to enter into Mercury retrograde here, okay? So Mercury is going to turn retrograde at 26 degrees of Aquarius. It will back up all the way until February 20th, where Mercury will come out of retrograde at 11 degrees. And if you haven't watched the talk from Gray Crawford and I on the Mercury retrograde for 2021, check it out at the card above, okay? Now, Mercury retrograde here in the energy of Aquarius, we've had a lot going on in Aquarius. One of Aquarius's ruling planets is in Aquarius, the other is in Taurus. So in the fixed signs, during this Mercury retrograde, we are going to take time to review a lot of what happened in 2020. We're going to review our thinking. We're going to review our groupings. We're going to review where we are lending our energy. We will flat out review some things about our technology or our approach to technology. And more specifically, I feel like this Mercury retrograde, as we come into this first couple weeks of it, even just the first week, you're really going over events that have happened from that new moon that happened in Capricorn just a couple weeks ago. This last 2-3 weeks is really very much so under review, I think, during this Mercury retrograde. So take the time during the Mercury retrograde. You know, we do suggest some things. If you can avoid signing big contracts, you know, do that. Really feel out, though, what is the impact of a Mercury retrograde on you typically? For me, it is very heavy, so I am mindful during a Mercury retrograde. But if you tend to kind of go unscathed, or you have a Mercury retrograde, you may feel yourself coming a lot more out, especially with the full moon happening in Leo. So however it hits you, get you how it hits you, okay? And spend the time over this next 3 weeks that we've got of Mercury retrograde using it to review, reflect, re-edit, reevaluate, reunion, reconnect with whatever you need to in your mental space, the Aquarian space, the friends, the places you'd like to be known and have some accolades, the groups that you believe in, the parties, the affiliations, whatever that looks at, your long-range plans. Take a time here to be reverent and to respect the opportunity to go back and look over it, okay? It's a big week in the sky because we've got a moon going on, which will very much so encompass emotional things and the energy of the people. The moon is the energy of the people. So between the people and the astrologers this week, I think we've got a very nice week on our hands. So watch your astrology and watch your people, okay? All right, my beautiful friends, like this video, comment, share, subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in our next videos and our next connections. I look forward to having your support in the Kickstarter. And at the end of this video, 2 new videos are going to pop up for you to go enjoy and check out and make sure you're current in your astro information. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.